no veas, a Sevilla. Y al último que cuando ya salió la bien de regla.
It is Friday on Raid Shadow Legends, but you knew that. Now, it doesn't happen often, but champions do get nerfed. Whether it was the original attempt to dial back Rotos the Lost Groom and Siphi the Lost Bride, or the time when they increased the cooldown on Madame Ceres's A3, Midnight Ritual, which didn't even change how she functioned in terms of the way she was overpowered, and just made her worse everywhere else, or the time when they deleted Urgrim from the game for a reason that's not even relevant nowadays. But sometimes some champion nerfs are not actually ones that are documented, nor are they really like hidden from you for you to find out. They just sort of happen, and as you've seen, there's 4 of them, and we're going to go over each of them. So starting off first is going to be Androc the Glorious and his alt form. Now, first, when we looked at his A2 Palisade Breaker, it would put up a whole bunch of debuffs on them, including Enfeeble. And now everyone looked at this and thought, hang on, if this works on bosses, how can bosses kill you? And the answer was, well, they couldn't. So this got swiftly changed to another one of the immunities that bosses have, and there's none that it works on even in the slightest. Which is a shame, because I would have thought that if you could get a mythical like him, then this should at least do something, but no. And then naturally, because of the polymorph on everything in Arena, if he would try to do this, he would instead go from lion to sheep, and everything else would have not worked at that point because, well, he's out of the game. Now, his base form is fine, but this was, again, mostly a Hydra champion in that regard, in terms of, okay, you're never getting debuffed, you're never dying, you probably don't need a reviver unless someone kills themselves to Head of Suffering reflect. Sorry, unalives themselves. It's 2025. I don't want to be demonetized. Oh wait, I don't get anything anyway. Who cares? Anyway, so yeah, he'd seen better days than what he originally thought he would achieve. Next, we're going all the way over to Shadowkin, and that is going to be Onyro Ieyasu. Now, back then, he was hailed as this Hydra god because of his passive Onryo's Duty, where basically this was like a super version of Hex, where he would just whack away at a decapitated head over and over, and all the other ones would just melt from this sheer amount of true damage he's dealing everywhere. But then Hydropocalypse happened, so now he hits the decap once, twice, and oh, it's gone. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, what's this? Serpent's Will? 100% DR? Wait, how can I hit it now? Oh, I can't. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, he had 2 weeks, including a bit of time on the test server where he was better than Ninja, better than Toshiro, and, well, they kind of griefed him at that point, didn't they? They tried selling him as a progressive right after that, where it's like, okay, I guess use him as a alternative to Georgid, but most people who already paid pig for Georgid had Georgid, so what do you need this guy for? Like, he's not the worst, but let's just say whoever designed his kit was definitely not told about Hydropocalypse, so yeah. Next we're going all the way over to Barbarians, and that is going to be Valkyrie. Valkyrie. She was one of our most complained about champions earlier on in this game's lifespan, because I get a whole bunch of turn meter for existing, and I cut yours, and I place this great big shield, and there's not many ways to get around it, and then all the counterattacks as well. But, well, times have changed, haven't they? Not only are there so many champions who blow right through shields, so having a shield the size of the screen doesn't mean anything, but if you look at her passive, Enemy champions have their turn meters decreased by 10% for each buff they received. Now, you'd think this is good, right? Because like cutting in on speed teams, etc. Well, here's a problem. Skinwalkers, Marichka the Gallant. What's his passive? Whenever enemy attempts to decrease champion's turn meter, counterattacks with default skill. AoE with Enfeeble. So, yeah. Valkyrie just gets her entire team killed from this, and there is no way for her to even stop herself doing so. So that is why you don't see Valkyrie anywhere now. Not PvP anyway. PvE, I know she's got niche options, but in terms of Hydra, well, Mischief steals counterattack, spreads it, okay, everyone counterattack. Chimera, she doesn't really help with trials there, so yeah, so Valkyrie has seen much better days. There was a time when I would have considered pulling for her because, well, there's a few places I'd used her, but no, that's not the case, so yeah. And then the last one is going to be Marichka the Unbreakable. And you would have thought, what? You've lost your mind for this one. It's Marichka the Unbreakable. And yeah, okay, so she does about 1,000,000 things, sure. But there is one particular thing that got in the way of her. And first off, it is to do with her passive. So originally, Stoneskin had only two things that really reliably interacted with it. Bombs and HP burn. And her passive slots both of them. Block damage, yeah, you know, HP burning or bombing through that, sorry. Until one particular fragment collection fusion came along, Ogrin tribes, stock were broken. Damage inflicted by poison and HP burns will ignore block damage and unkillable. So previously you'd have Marichka and a whole bunch of Stoneskin and you would just laugh at everything, and now you can't, because now there is a very particular team that breaks through these slow, durable Marichka defenses. First off, you need any speed booster at all. The fastest one you can have really, really fast. You know, I mean, you know what it's like nowadays. People have champions with 480 speed. But, so it's a heavy booster, right? Next you have Gizmak the Terrible, who will set fire to the entire enemy team, does not check accuracy. Now this will trigger Marichka's passive, right? Block damage. Except, then we go back to stock, and, oh yeah, we ignore block damage. So now we use this, we activate all of these HP burns, so with Incinerate, all of those Stoneskins are gone. And remember, pinpoints in the game now, so no polymorph. You can easily put all of these in 9-piece pinpoints if you spend enough time at an event dungeon. And believe me, the people who take plat pushes very, very seriously have spent a lot of time and a lot of money on getting pinpoint sets. I'm not joking. So now they have HP burns on them and no Stoneskins. We go over to Ramontu Drake's Blood, who everyone else has a free, and we take all their other buffs off them because now there's no Stoneskin to prevent block debuffs being placed on them. So now everyone has block passives on them and no Stoneskin. So suddenly Marichka's passive is not looking too good because she doesn't have it. And then because Gizmak is a completely fair and balanced champion, he does this, again, doesn't get polymorphed, pinpoint, one shots for the entire team, that's it, they're gone in 10 seconds. So yeah, so a lot of those Marichka Stoneskin teams now just hope they really don't go against one of these fast stock Gizmak comps, and it's why you just see a whole bunch of speed teams now with Odin, etc., because it's easier just to go really, really fast than just try and play it tanky and get blown through. Now, does that mean Marichka is bad now? No. She's still really, really strong and dead stops so many other things without even taking a turn. But yeah, she's not quite as unbreakable as she was before. And that was despite the previous attempt to get through her. because she'd placed this strengthen and shield, and instead of standing with Ukraine, you could be standing with Egypt instead. And he would roll out the bombs, and not the bombs, but well, they explode, you get the idea. Or just permadeath them if there are 3 buffs on them. And he does not care about shield or strengthen at all, so yeah. Nice A2 you have there, Marichka. And while we're here, regarding K'Leth, so originally this would also affect Hydra heads. I think it still does in terms of setting turn meter to lowest and highest, but because for some reason or another Plarium were really concerned about people with optimized teams and strategies. What? Using the correct champions, builds and strategies to overcome content? What is this? Disgusting. They decided that, okay, actually, he doesn't boost his own turn meter from this, so he can't use it quite as often. Realistically, no one cared either way because the Trunda comp was still the best, but yeah, this made him a bit worse everywhere because now he can't take his next turn quite as quick to do whatever else he would be doing, which I've kind of already forgotten because my memory is not very good. Also, regarding this guy, I have not seen anyone who has him. Like, sure, people have pulled him, 157 reviews, so there's at least that many people who have him, but I've not seen him anywhere, so yeah. But I believe I've talked about why people don't have the most recent faction unities, and I don't feel like reiterating the entire thing because I have better things to do. Sort of. And so do you. Maybe. But yeah. That's all I have to say on the matter. Maybe it was interesting to you, maybe it wasn't. If it wasn't, why do you watch? Whatever. Anyway, so we are done and I'm going to let you go. So, see ya.